Episode 4 of Welcome to Derry starts in the morning following the aftermath of that horrific CGI graveyard chase. Now Ronnie shows up to see Chief Bowers with the other kids, promising that they have photographic evidence of it. However, something is wrong. With the exception of the clown silhouette, the other pictures look completely normal. And Chief Bowers and the others are not convinced, chalk up the silhouette to a statue and dismiss their story. Rose speaks to Charlotte here and finds out her husband holds a lot of secrets. Rose tells Charlotte that Derry is a beautiful town, but things happen from time to time. Now Rose hands over her number and offers to talk whenever she needs it. When Will heads home, he tells Charlotte about his experience of being chased, sobbing in her arms. Charlotte decides they should keep this between them, loath to tell Leroy about him running around the graveyard at night. Charlotte thinks Leroy and Will need to spend more time together, so they head out fishing. The pair bond over Will's affection for Ronnie, but when Leroy leaves him in the lake alone, he winds up experiencing horrific visions of his dad, promising that he'll burn too. Leroy doesn't initially believe Will when he tells his story, until he notices blood and cuts over the boy's wrists. Just to add salt to the wound, a red balloon floats over the lake. As for Char, she heads to the police station and tries to speak to Bowers about Hank. Given no attorney has been here to see him, and the alarming issue of this spirit terrorising the town, Char wants to help Hank. And down south, she's had experience with helping other folks out of forced confessions, and she believes she can do the same for Hank. The only thing we know is that he definitely wasn't at home like he said he was. Char manages to get in to see Hank and believes they need to sign papers citing discrimination. This would allow him to skip bail and go straight to home arrest while he waits for trial. Hank's right to due process was violated in the way he was arrested, and because of that he'll definitely be going home. However, he does need to speak the truth about what he was doing that night. The trouble is, the truth is that he was out with a white woman. If this was revealed, he could well be lynched. Meanwhile, Dick and the boys are given a brand new hangout spot in a decommissioned bunker. The guys see a lot of potential here and begin sorting it out. Leroy speaks to Dick outside about Will's attack, and the latter eventually snaps and admits he doesn't know what's stalking them, but he does know that it's bad news. Now Will feeds back to the others what's happened, and he believes Pennywise is trying to scare them before feeding. Lilly hands over some pills she swiped from her mum and decides they should take them the next time something bad happens. Now at school, Marge is forced by Patty and the others to dupe Lilly into believing one of the most popular kids at school fancies her. However, Marge has second thoughts in the bathroom, realising how cruel this prank actually is. Just before telling her the truth though, she suddenly experiences a horrific vision from it. Her eyes swell up and she races through the school into the lab. Using a bandsaw, Marge cuts into her eyes, desperate to destroy whatever parasite is inside her. Lilly catches up with her friend, but unfortunately, when the other kids show in the lab, they find Lilly on top of Marge and believe she's the culprit. We then cut forward to Will that night. He can't sleep and uses the telescope to try and get his mind off things. Unfortunately, he winds up seeing Pennywise staring back. Leroy races to help Will, heading outside to take a look. It's here he spies a red balloon wedged in one of the trees. Frustrated and more than a little concerned, Leroy heads back to base and confronts General Shaw. He brings Leroy to the cell, where they're questioning Daniel, one of the young Indian boys that has been looking around the base lately. Daniel knows where Pennywise is hiding but won't reveal the spot. Instead, General Shaw has Dick probe through Daniel's mind and extract that very information. It's here we learn of the monster's origin, how it arrived in a star fallen to Earth, and how Daniel and his ancestors fought and eventually caged this spirit. There are 13 shards of the ancient star it arrived in buried within the woods. The line was initially marked with fires, but of course years later that's not the case anymore. Dick is desperate to find the pillars, and eventually Daniel shows off an old dilapidated house that could hold the key to doing just that. So Welcome to Derry returns this week with a gnarly episode, depicting a horrible sequence with Marge and the saw. However, annoyingly, we don't actually see the aftermath of this or what's happened to Lilly. It's also curious that despite how traumatic that must have been, Will is okay that night just chilling with his telescope, until he sees Pennywise of course. More pressing matters are at hand though, and after that big flashback sequence at the end, Dick's smile seems to be a telltale sign that all is not well inside this man's head. Could it be that Pennywise is using him to find the pillars so he can escape and unleash havoc across the town for real? That smile was pretty unnerving, and it does feel like the show is hinting at this, especially with that previous vision telling him to close his mind. I'm guessing the place Dick and the crew eventually end up going to, it may well be the Black Spot from the book. Beyond that though, there are some lovely Easter eggs and connections to the wider Stephen King universe. There are quite a few similarities in the way this has been constructed to Castle Rock 2, given both shows share the same eerie atmosphere and those aforementioned Easter eggs. Hopefully this one ends in a better way though. All things considered, Welcome to Derry has set everything up nicely for the second half of this season. Roll on next week's episode. Thanks for watching, and do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like or subscribe to the channel, your support is very much appreciated. I'm Greg Wheeler, and from all of us over here at The Review Geek, we'll see you on the next video.